Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. Tara leaned into Jenna's cubicle and tapped her screen twice. Her smile was small, but it landed like a slap. I heard my name drop, then my stomach turned hard. Jenna's eyes flicked to me and stayed there too long. I'm Maya, 27, and I froze with my badge half clipped. You know that split second where your body votes before you do? My mouth wanted to laugh it off, like a normal person. My feet wanted to back out and pretend I forgot something. Tara didn't lower her voice, not even a little. She tilted her phone so two more people could see. I caught words like always, crisis, and attention, then my throat went dry. Someone snorted, and it wasn't a friendly sound. I stepped closer, slow and careful, like noise might break me. Jenna's hands hovered over her keyboard and did nothing. She looked guilty, then defensive, then blank. That shift told me Tara already owned the room. Are we doing this right now? I tried to keep it light. My voice came out tight anyway, and I hated that. Tara's brows lifted like I was the one being dramatic. She leaned back in her chair and waited for me to fail. Doing what? Tara's tone was sweet, almost polite. She spun her monitor a few degrees away from me. That move was tiny, but it felt loud. It told me she had something and wanted me to chase it. I should have walked away. I should have asked Jenna privately and kept my pride intact. Instead, I stood there, hands open, like I was asking permission. I'm not proud of that part, but it happened. Jenna cleared her throat and didn't look up. Tara leaned forward again, like she couldn't help herself. Everybody deserves to know who they're dealing with. Her nails clicked the desk. The word sounded practiced, and that scared me more. I laughed once, sharp and wrong. It was that panic laugh you can't control. Who am I to you exactly? My cheeks felt hot. Tara's smile widened like she finally got her moment. She waved a hand toward Jenna's screen, casual like it was a weather app. Your friend, the word came out stretched. Then she added, or whatever you call this routine. Jenna flinched at that, and I noticed. I looked for an ally and found none. Two coworkers were pretending to sort papers, but they watched. One of them glanced at my face, then looked away fast. That was the first time I thought, oh no, this is spreading. My phone buzzed in my pocket and I didn't check it. I didn't want to see what they were typing about me. I kept my eyes on Tara instead, which was a mistake. Tara loved an audience and I was handing her one. Show me, I said, and my voice dropped. I heard my own tone and felt meaner than I wanted. Tara's eyes flashed, then she hid it with a shrug. She lifted her phone higher like a trophy. The screen was full of text, and my brain latched onto one line. A sentence I recognized, but not like that. It looked clipped, tightened, stripped of everything that made it human. My hands tingled and I couldn't feel my fingertips. Jenna finally looked up and whispered, Maya, please. Not a defense, not a question. A warning, like I was about to step into traffic. And I did it anyway. Where did you get that? I asked too fast. Tara's shoulders lifted in a fake little flinch. Relax, she made a face like I was exhausting. Then she aimed her gaze past me toward the aisle. A couple people slowed down as they walked by. Not stopping, but not really moving either. I could almost hear the story forming in their heads. And I knew Tara could see it too. I tried a different angle because I was scrambling. Jenna, I turned to her and kept my voice low. Tell me you didn't give her my stuff, my heart hammered. Jenna swallowed and looked at her desk like it had answers. Tara made a soft sound, almost a laugh. It was the kind that says, you're already done. She's not your witness. Tara flicked her eyes at Jenna. Jenna's face went pale, and that was another clue. I felt my temper rise, then I forced it back down. I could feel myself being watched for a reaction. If I blew up, I'd become the exact version of me they wanted. That thought trapped me in my own skin. Stop talking about me at work, I said. Simple, clear, reasonable. Tara tilted her head like she was listening, then smiled again. Then stop giving us material, she shot back. That one hit because it wasn't random. It sounded like something she'd told people before. It sounded like a line that already traveled through the office. My chest tightened and I realized I was late to my own rumor. I tried to pull Jenna out of it because I still cared. I know that's pathetic in hindsight. Can we step out for 1 minute? I asked Jenna. Tara leaned in and cut it off with a raised finger. No private meetings, Tara's voice stayed calm. She looked at the nearest coworker and smirked. This is a workplace, her eyes came back to me. I wanted to scream, but I didn't give her that. I backed up one step and my heel caught the carpet edge. It was nothing, but my balance wobbled. Someone noticed and shifted like they might help, then didn't. That tiny hesitation made me feel smaller. My phone buzzed again, longer this time. I glanced down and the preview made my stomach lurch. A message from someone I barely talked to at work. It was one sentence and it wasn't kind. I locked my screen and slid the phone away. I didn't want Tara to see my face change. I didn't want her to know she got through. But she watched me like she already did. Look at her, Tara nodded toward me like I was a display. She's doing the wounded thing, she rolled her eyes. My vision narrowed and I felt my pulse in my ears. I tasted metal and I hated that too. I leaned closer because distance was making me dizzy. Whatever you think you're proving, stop, my voice cracked on stop. Tara's expression didn't shift but her jaw tightened. For 1 second she looked annoyed and I grabbed that. You want attention, Tara's voice sharpened. Fine, she pointed at Jenna's screen again. Tell them what you really do, her finger hovered there accusing. Jenna's hands started shaking and mine did too. I didn't correct Tara. I didn't defend myself to the hallway of ears. I hate admitting that, but I couldn't find the right words. All I could think was, what else does she have on me? Someone's chair rolled back behind me. A quiet scrape, then a new voice joined the air. Is everything okay over here? It was our team lead, too casual. Tara's smile snapped back into place like a mask. I turned before Tara could speak first. My mouth opened then shut, then opened again. I could feel the choice right there, fight or swallow it. And Tara was already leaning in to answer for me. My team lead hovered at the aisle like a referee. Tara turned toward her with that office-friendly face. I stepped in fast before Tara could frame me. Can we talk somewhere else? My voice sounded steadier than I felt. The lead nodded but her eyes stayed cautious. Tara angled her chair to block Jenna from view. Jenna stared at her desk like it could hide her. That silence felt like a decision happening without me. We moved to a small room near the printers. Tara followed right behind us like she owned the issue. I kept my hands visible like that mattered. My brain kept yelling, do not crack, not here. What's going on? The lead folded her arms. Tara answered first like it was her turn. She's upset because people talk, Tara smiled, soft and sharp. I watched my story get handed away in one sentence. No, it came out flat, not polite. Tara's eyes widened like I'd just screamed. I hated that she could weaponize my tone that fast. So I forced my voice down, even though it burned. She's sharing private stuff about me, I said. My lead glanced at Tara, then back at me. Tara lifted her hands, palms up, innocent on demand. That move made me feel ridiculous, which was the point. Private stuff, the lead raised an eyebrow. Tara leaned on the table and shrugged. She tells everyone everything, Tara's voice turned sing-song. I bit my tongue so hard my jaw ached. I tried to keep it simple because panic makes me ramble. It's not a work topic, I looked straight at the lead. I wanted to stop, my words felt small in the room. Tara's smile twitched just for a second. The lead glanced between us, then exhaled slowly. Keep it professional, she said it like a warning to both. I nodded even though it didn't feel fair. Tara nodded too, like she'd just won something. As we walked out, Tara brushed past me. Not a shove, not an accident either. She murmured, don't worry, everyone already knows. My chest tightened because she sounded sure. Back at my desk, I found 3 new messages waiting. Not from friends, not from people I trusted. Short stuff, cold stuff. The kind that makes you reread it twice, then feel sick. One message was just a question mark and my name. Another said, wow, you're brave, it didn't read as kind. The third one asked if I was okay, then added a laughing emoji. I stared at my monitor and my vision narrowed. I tried to work anyway because I'm stubborn like that. I opened a file, then closed it, then opened it again. My fingers missed keys like they forgot the map. Across the aisle, Tara kept typing like nothing happened. Jenna didn't come over. She didn't text. She didn't even glance my way when I shifted in my chair. That hurt more than Tara's little performance, and I hated admitting it. When lunch hit, my legs moved on autopilot. I headed to the break area, then slowed at the doorway. A cluster sat together and their voices dipped. It was like walking into a room where the song stops. I grabbed my food and sat at the edge of the group. No one told me to leave, which almost felt worse. A couple people kept eating, eyes down, jaws tight. I felt like I was on display without a label. Tara sat 2 chairs away, close enough to be heard. She didn't look at me, not even once. She laughed at something on her phone, then angled it outward. That angle felt intentional, like bait. I tried to start normal conversation just to test the air. "How's the new schedule working for you guys?" Someone hummed a fake response and sipped their drink. Nobody followed up and the quiet stayed heavy. Then Jenna arrived late and stopped short. Her eyes flicked to me, then to Tara, then down. She sat slowly, like she expected a trap. I watched her hands twist together under the table. I leaned toward her, careful. "Can we talk for a second?" I kept it low. Jenna's lips parted, then closed again. Tara's leg bounced, fast and pleased. Jenna slid her phone across the table toward me. She didn't push it hard like she hoped I'd refuse. I took it anyway because I needed to know. The screen was already open to a chat thread. At first, I didn't even recognize it. It was my words, but chopped into jagged pieces. A line was circled in bright markup like a crime scene. My heart dropped when I saw who it was about. The thread title was my name, like a folder. Under it were screenshots stacked like cards. Some were mine, some were not mine at all. I felt heat crawl up my neck, slow and ugly. Tara finally looked at me, calm as a statue. "See," she made a tiny gesture toward the phone. "Pattern," she tapped her own chest once like she had morals. My hands started to tremble and I forced them still. I scrolled and the edits got worse. A sentence ended right before the apology part. Another cut off right before I explained why I was spiraling. It was crafted to make me look cruel, and it worked. "You showed them this," my voice came out thin. Jenna's eyes filled fast and she wiped them hard. "I didn't mean to," her words sounded like a lie she hated. Tara leaned back, satisfied, like she'd staged the whole thing. "Then why is it in a group chat?" I kept pushing. Jenna flinched at the phrase like it burned. She glanced at Tara, then looked away like she'd been trained. That glance told me Tara held something over her, and I wanted it. Tara set her phone down with a soft click. "Don't make her your shield," her voice stayed smooth. "She's tired of your messy friendship." Tara didn't blink. I felt anger flare because she was rewriting my life in real time. I slid Jenna's phone back slow. My pulse thudded in my throat, loud and humiliating. I could feel people watching without turning their heads. I realized this wasn't gossip anymore, it was a verdict. I stood up because sitting felt like surrender. My chair scraped and the sound snapped everyone's attention. Tara's eyes tracked me like she expected a scene. I didn't give her a scene, but I didn't smile either. "Jenna," I kept my voice low, almost careful. "Did you show her my messages or did she take them?" Jenna's breath caught and her face went blank. Tara's mouth curved like she knew what answer was coming. Jenna stared at her hands, then whispered, "I don't know." That answer made no sense, which made perfect sense. I felt my skin prickle, like warning lights inside me. Because if Jenna didn't know, then what did Tara do? I snatched my bag and walked straight to the stairwell. Not dramatic running, just quick steps and a locked jaw. My hands wanted to do something, anything, to fix it. I reached the landing and finally breathed, but it felt wrong. I pulled out my phone and opened my messages. My thumb hovered like it was scared of the truth. "You ever dread your own words more than someone else's?" I scrolled until I found it, and my pulse kicked up again. There it was, the line they circled in that thread. I wrote it, "I own that." It looked uglier in daylight, like a bruise you caused. I swallowed hard because denial was not an option anymore. I texted Jenna right then. "Meet me 5 minutes, anywhere quiet." No explanation, no softening, no cute emojis. I hit send and watched the little status change, then stall. My phone lit up with more reactions from coworkers. Not direct insults, which almost made it worse. Little hints, little checking in messages that weren't checking in. I shut off notifications, but the damage stayed loud. I marched back out and caught Jenna near the hallway. She flinched when she saw me coming. Tyra was a few steps behind her, watching like a hawk. I pointed toward an empty conference room and didn't wait. Jenna slipped inside first, shoulders tight. Tyra tried to follow like it was normal. I blocked the door with my forearm and held her stare. Not you, my voice stayed low but it carried. Tara lifted her eyebrows and gave a slow smile. Cute boundary, she brushed an imaginary speck off her sleeve. Then she stepped back, still smiling like she had time. That grin told me she already planted something else. I shut the door and defaced Jenna. She stood there like a kid caught with a broken vase. I kept my tone steady because I needed answers. Did you hand her my messages, yes or no? Jenna's mouth opened, then nothing came out. She looked at the table, then at the door, then at me. I didn't send them, she finally muttered. Her eyes darted again and that twitch screamed fear. I nodded once like I believed her. Sincerity felt dangerous, but I tried it anyway. Then how did she get screenshots that look like my thread? Jenna pressed her lips together and went pale. She pulled out her phone with shaking fingers. She opened the group chat and scrolled fast, too fast. I didn't start it, she whispered, voice cracking at the end. She turned the screen toward me, and my stomach dropped again. The first post was from Tyra. Not a vague comment, not a question. A full setup like a headline, then the screenshot right under it. It was packaged, ready to hate, and it had my name on it. I scrolled down and saw replies stacking up. Jokes, side eyes, people acting like they knew my heart. Some defended me, but even those sounded unsure. I felt exposed, like someone ripped my diary open in public. Jenna reached for the phone, then stopped herself. I told her you were upset today, her voice went small. She asked why, Jenna's hands clenched into fists. I stared at her because that still wasn't access. Keep going, I leaned closer to the screen. I needed the exact moment this turned into a pylon. Jenna scrolled to earlier messages and hesitated. Then she tapped one and held her breath. A private chat between Jenna and Tara popped up. Tara's messages were short, confident, and weirdly calm. Send me what she wrote, then no, the other one. Jenna's face crumpled, and I felt my temper flash. So you did send it, my voice came out sharper. Jenna flinched hard like I'd slapped her. I sent one thing, she wiped her eyes with her sleeve. And she already had the rest, that part hit like a brick. My brain tried to reject it. How could Tara already have them if Jenna didn't deliver them? I opened my own thread again and compared it with the screenshot. The cut was clean, like someone knew exactly where to slice. I found what was missing. The message right after my ugly vent line. The one where I backpedaled and admitted I was spiraling. That message existed on my phone, but not in Tara's proof. I held my phone up so Jenna could see. This is the next text, my voice dropped. Why isn't it in her screenshot? The question hung there heavy. Jenna stared like she was looking at a ghost. She shook her head fast, then slower. I swear I never saw that one, her voice was rough now. She looked genuinely confused, which scared me more. Because it meant Tara didn't screenshot my thread from Jenna's phone. I paced 2 steps and forced myself to slow down. Panic makes you act stupid, and Tara loved stupid reactions. I needed logic, not vibes, and I needed it now. I turned back to Jenna and pointed at her screen. Scroll to the moment she got them, I said. Jenna's thumb hovered, then moved. A single message from Tara sat there like a needle. Got it, don't worry, no image attached, no nothing. I stared at that line until my eyes hurt. If Jenna sent one screenshot, Tara should have replied to that. Instead, it looked like Tara received a batch from somewhere else. My skin prickled because the somewhere else felt obvious. Did she ever touch your phone? I asked Jenna. The words came out careful, like stepping on glass. Jenna's eyes flicked up, then away. That reaction was an answer before any words. Jenna nodded once, barely. It was quick, she swallowed hard. She asked to see a picture from last week, Jenna's voice shook. And then she kept scrolling, that was the part that made me cold. I leaned back against the wall and tried to think. Tara didn't need Jenna's trust, she just needed a moment. A moment near someone's device, a moment near mine too. My mind replayed the morning, and one detail snapped into place. I remembered setting my phone down earlier. Not far, not hidden, not locked like it should have been. I always tell myself I'm careful, but clearly I was. That memory made my face burn with shame. I forced myself to look at Jenna again. Did she ever grab my phone? I asked, voice flat. Jenna stared at the floor for a long beat. Then she whispered, during the drill, and my blood went ice. I yanked my phone open and changed every lock setting. My fingers moved too fast and missed buttons. Jenna stood there, arms tight around herself. I turned the screen toward her and asked one thing: when was the drill? Jenna blinked like the question hit her late. Late morning, her voice scraped on the words. She looked at the door like Tara might appear through it. That look pushed me into motion because waiting felt stupid. I walked out first and Jenna trailed behind me. I didn't check if Tara watched, I assumed she did. My mind kept replaying one moment, my phone left alone. I felt sick at how simple it was and how preventable. At my desk, I pulled up the group chat again. I scrolled until my thumb slowed on one screenshot. The timestamp on Tara's post was earlier than I thought. Not by minutes either, by a lot. I opened my own message thread and compared times. The screenshot had a timestamp that matched my thread exactly. That meant Tara captured it after I sent it, not later. My throat tightened because the window was small. Jenna hovered next to my chair like she wanted to vanish. I looked up at her and kept my voice low. Did she hold my phone in her hands? Jenna nodded once, then flinched like she regretted it. How? I asked, blunt and fast. Jenna swallowed and stared at my keyboard. We were outside, her hands twisted together. Everyone was joking around, and she offered to hold it. That detail made my stomach drop again. Because it sounded helpful, and Tara loved helpful. I pictured her standing close, smiling, acting generous. Then I pictured her thumb moving like it belonged there. I didn't yell at Jenna, even though I wanted to. I know how that sounds, like I'm a saint. I'm not, I just knew the real threat was Tara. So I forced my anger into a straight line, aimed forward. I opened my settings and checked recent access. My screen time log was a mess, but one thing stood out. My Messages app spiked right during the drill window. I stared at it until my eyes burned because it felt like proof. Then the shame hit hard, my phone wasn't locked. I had a passcode, but the screen stayed open sometimes. I did that lazy, I'll lock it later thing. And Tara took that later and turned it into now. I stood up and walked straight to the team lead's desk. Not a polite stroll, not a careful little approach. I planted my hands on the edge and kept my voice steady. I need to report a privacy violation today. The lead's eyes widened, then narrowed. She glanced around like she was checking who could hear. Conference room, she pointed without asking questions. That quick compliance told me she sensed the fire too. Inside the room, I put my phone on the table. Screen faced up, brightness high, no hiding. Jenna stayed by the door like a cornered animal. I looked at the lead and started with one sentence: Tara took my phone. The lead blinked twice, then leaned forward. Took your phone, her voice dropped. I nodded and slid my screen time log toward her. My hands shook, but I kept them on the table. The lead stared at the chart like it was a foreign language. I hated that because I needed her to get it fast. So I pulled up the group chat post and showed the time. Then I showed my message thread time and watched her face shift. Her mouth pressed into a line. That's not good, she didn't sound dramatic, just firm. She looked at Jenna and asked, you saw this happen? Jenna's throat bobbed and she whispered, yes. The lead stood up and opened the door. Stay here, her tone left no debate. Then she walked out with quick steps, phone already in hand. I sat there listening for footsteps because I expected Tara. Jenna exhaled hard like she'd been underwater. I didn't think she'd do that, her voice cracked again. I wanted to snap, yeah, welcome to the party. Instead I asked, why did you trust her with your phone too? Jenna's eyes went wide, then wet. I didn't, she shook her head fast. She grabbed it while I was pulling my jacket on. That new detail made my skin prickle because it fit too well. So it was help me hold it. It was snatch and scroll. It was quick hands and fake normal. It was a pattern, and my anger finally found a target. My phone buzzed again, and this time I looked. A new message from a coworker popped up on my screen. Are you okay? Tara said, you're spiraling again. Again, that word made my stomach flip because it meant history. I typed back 2 words and deleted them. I was okay, I wasn't spiraling. I was getting played and they were buying it. I put my phone down and stared at the door, waiting. The lead returned with another manager from our floor. Not HR yet, but close enough to feel serious. Tara followed behind them like she belonged there. She walked in smiling and my hands curled into fists. Tara glanced at Jenna first, not me. It was quick, but it landed like a warning. Jenna shrank back a step and looked at the carpet. That tiny exchange told me more than any confession. The manager pointed at a chair across the table. Tara, sit, no friendliness, no warm tone. Tara sat slowly, keeping her smile on. She looked at me like I was overreacting, which almost worked. What's the issue? The manager kept it tight. I slid my phone toward Tara, screen locked now. You accessed my messages. My voice didn't shake, which surprised me. Tara's smile stayed. But her eyes sharpened just a flicker. I didn't access anything. Tara lifted one shoulder. She spread her hands like she was offering truth. You were sending stuff around, it found me. That sentence was so slick it made my teeth hurt. Explain the timestamps. I tapped the screen twice. I pulled up the group chat post and held it steady. I pulled up my message thread right after. Tara's eyes tracked the numbers and her smile thinned. The manager leaned in and watched Tara's face. The lead stood behind me, silent and solid. Jenna stayed near the door, breathing shallow. I hated that Jenna looked guilty because she wasn't the thief. Tara let out a soft laugh like this was cute. You all love drama. She shook her head slowly. Then she looked at me with fake concern. I think she needs help, not a meeting. That move almost got me. I felt my face heat up and my chest tighten. You know that urge to prove you're sane by acting sane. I took a slow breath and said, this isn't about my emotions. The manager's eyes cut to Tara. Answer the question. His voice went flat. Tara blinked, then leaned back in her chair. I saw it on Jenna's phone. She offered too quick. Jenna flinched like someone pinched her. I never showed you my thread, Jenna blurted. Her words came out messy but real. Tara's eyes snapped to her, sharp, impatient, almost angry. The lead stepped forward and lifted her own phone. I need you to hand yours over. Her voice didn't wobble. Tara laughed again, louder this time, like it was insane. I'm not doing that, she snapped, and the room went still. That refusal changed the air instantly. Even Tara seemed to realize it a second too late. The manager didn't argue, he just nodded once. Then we escalate. Those two words made Tara's smile finally drop. Tara sat up straighter and tried another angle. This is harassment, she pointed at me, then Jenna. She's trying to blame me for her mess. Jenna made a small sound like she'd been hit, and I saw red. I leaned forward and kept my voice quiet. During the drill, you held my phone. I said it like a fact, not an accusation. Tara's eyes widened for half a beat, then she recovered too fast. That's a lie. Tara's voice got loud. She looked at the manager like she wanted him to rescue her. I've never touched her phone. The manager didn't blink, and that silence felt like pressure. The lead tapped her own screen and turned it toward him. Security footage covers the stairwell exit. I hadn't even thought about cameras and my heart jumped. Tara's jaw tightened because she had thought about them. The manager's voice stayed calm. We'll request it. He didn't threaten, he promised. Tara's eyes darted to the door, then back to us. And for the first time, she looked cornered. She tried to stand like she could end the scene. The manager lifted a hand without touching her. Sit, one word, cold and final. Tara sat back down and her fingers started tapping the table fast. I opened my phone again and pulled up one more thing. The notification log, the exact minute my screen lit up. It matched the drill window perfectly clean. I slid it forward and watched Tara's tapping slow. Tara stared at the screen and didn't speak. Her face stayed blank but her neck flushed. I felt a grim kind of relief because she couldn't talk her way out. Then I felt fear because this was getting bigger than gossip. The manager stood and opened the door again. I'm contacting HR now, he looked at Tara. Do not message anyone about this. Tara's eyes narrowed like a threat forming, and I felt it in my bones. When he stepped out, Tara leaned toward me, voice low. You're making yourself look worse. Her smile returned, smaller now. People hate a snitch, she said it like a fact of life. I stared back and realized she wasn't wrong about people. Jenna made a choke sound and covered her mouth. Tara snapped her gaze toward Jenna, quick and sharp. Relax, Tara's tone went sweet again. Jenna's shoulders jumped, and I hated Tara for that power. I wanted to tell Tara she was pathetic. I wanted to list every weird thing she'd done around us. Instead, I kept my mouth shut because that would be a speech. And speeches lose to receipts every single time. HR arrived faster than I expected. Two people, both calm, both looking tired already. They didn't greet Tara like a coworker, they greeted her like a case. Tara noticed and her smile wobbled again. One HR rep asked me to walk through it. I kept it short and showed the screens. Timestamps, screenshots, drill window. I spoke like I was reading a checklist because emotion felt like a trap. Then HR asked Tara one question. Did you access her phone without permission? Tara's mouth opened then closed. Her eyes flicked to Jenna again, and Jenna didn't look away this time. Tara tried a new defense, voice softer. I was worried about her, she clasped her hands like she cared. She was acting unstable, the word landed ugly in the room. HR didn't react, which made Tara push harder. She needs attention, Tara shrugged like it was obvious. She uses people, Tara's eyes swept the room like a jury. I felt my stomach twist because this was her real goal. Not the messages, the label. The HR rep didn't take the bait. She nodded once and pointed at my phone. May we document these screens? I handed it over with shaking hands because this part mattered. They took notes and asked for the drill time. They asked who stood near me outside. They asked who created the group chat thread. Each question tightened the net, and Tara's posture stiffened. Tara started talking faster, too fast. She contradicted herself in small ways. First, she never touched my phone, then she held it briefly. That slip made the room go quiet, like everyone heard the crack. HR repeated her last phrase back to her. Held it briefly, the words sounded heavier in their mouth. Tara's lips pressed tight and her eyes flashed. I watched her realize she couldn't rewind time. The manager stood near the door, arms crossed. The lead watched Tara without blinking. Jenna stared at her own hands, breathing uneven. And I sat there thinking, if Tara did this once, what else did she take? HR ended the meeting with a calm instruction. Tara, you'll remain available, do not return to your desk. Tara's face went hard and her smile vanished fully. She looked straight at me like she wanted to carve my name into memory. As Tara walked out with HR, she passed Jenna first. She slowed just enough to whisper something I couldn't hear. Jenna's face drained and her knees almost buckled. Then Tara glanced back at me and winked like this wasn't over. My phone buzzed again and my stomach twisted on cue. A new message popped up from an unknown number. Careful what you claim, no name, no context. I blocked it instantly, but my hands still shook. I walked back to my desk and found a sticky note. 3 words in messy handwriting, stop playing victim. No signature, just a little arrow pointing at my chair. I tore it up and felt my face burn anyway. Jenna caught up to me near the aisle. Her eyes were red and her breathing was uneven. I'm sorry, she grabbed my sleeve then let go fast. I didn't pull away, but I didn't soften either. Don't apologize at me, my voice stayed low. Help me fix this, I looked her straight in the face. Jenna nodded hard like she needed orders. That was new and it scared me. HR called me into a room before I could sit down. The rep held a folder like it weighed something. Walk us through your timeline, her tone stayed neutral. I nodded then swallowed hard because my voice felt fragile. I opened my phone and showed the steps in order. Post-time drill window, screen log. I kept it tight because emotion was easy to dismiss. The HR rep nodded and wrote fast like she'd seen this before. Then she asked the question that stung. Did you share any of this willingly at work? I wanted to say no, clean and simple. But my throat locked because the truth had edges. I vented, the words came out rough. Not publicly, I forced my gaze up. Not to her, the last part landed hard because it mattered. The rep didn't judge me, which made me judge myself harder. She tapped her pen and asked for the group chat name. I gave it and my stomach flipped again. Because I knew they'd read every cruel reply. Do you feel safe continuing your shift, she asked. Safe, the word felt dramatic but also accurate. I nodded anyway because I didn't want to look weak. Then I hated myself for worrying about that. I walked out and saw people scatter like I was contagious. A few stared then looked away too late. Someone whispered my name and stopped mid-syllable. I kept moving because stopping would have broken me. Near the break area, I heard Tara's laugh again. Not from her, from someone mimicking her. Two coworkers were reenacting her concerned voice. My skin crawled because even the joke proved she mattered. The team lead flagged me down with a quick hand motion. HR is pulling footage, her voice stayed clipped. She glanced behind me, checking the hallway. Also, Tara is on leave pending review. Those words hit like relief. Relief came with a weird aftertaste. Because it didn't fix what people believed about me. Tara might leave, but her story already lived here. And I could feel it in every awkward glance. My phone lit up with a new notification from the group chat. Someone posted, "Maybe we should delete this." Another replied, "Too late." A third one wrote, "She did it to herself." My mouth went dry. I didn't respond. I wanted to defend myself so badly it hurt. But I knew any message would become a new screenshot. So I put my phone face down and stared at my hands. Jenna sat across from me later, knees bouncing. She slid her phone over without meeting my eyes. I saved everything, her voice barely worked. I stared at the screen and my heart sank. It wasn't just one thread. Tara had a whole collection of examples. Little comments, old messages, random moments twisted into a pattern. It felt like she'd been building a file on me for weeks. I scrolled and found one message that made me dizzy. It showed my words edited, but with my typing style. Meaning Tara didn't only screenshot. She also rewrote and made it look like me. "Where did this come from?" I tapped the line. Jenna's voice shook. "She typed it while holding your phone." Jenna swallowed hard. "She asked me to confirm it sounded like you." That confession hit like a punch. I sat back and felt my brain go blank. You ever get so mad you go quiet instead? That was me. Because if I spoke, I would have exploded. I stood and walked straight to HR again. No hesitation, no politeness buffer. "I have more." My voice sounded flat and exhausted. The HR rep's eyes sharpened, like she expected that. I showed her the rewritten messages and the pattern. I pointed out the tiny differences in punctuation and timing. I didn't need to be a detective to see it. Tara wasn't gossiping, she was manufacturing. HR asked Jenna to come in too. Jenna looked like she might bolt, then stayed. She sat down and gripped her knees like a lifeline. When HR asked what happened, Jenna finally broke. "She took your phone during the drill." Jenna stared at the floor. "She said she was helping." Jenna's voice cracked. "She opened your messages like it was normal." The room went silent after that, heavy and final. HR asked one more question, slow and clear. "Did she bypass any lock?" Jenna hesitated, then nodded. "She watched her type the code." That detail made me feel sick. I didn't even know Jenna had seen that. I felt stupid for not protecting my own privacy. I also felt furious at the fact she watched and didn't stop it. Then I remembered fear makes people small, and I hated the sympathy. HR ended the interview and asked us to wait outside. Jenna paced the hallway, hands shaking. I leaned against the wall and tried to breathe normally. My head kept replaying Tara's wink like a threat still hanging. After a long stretch, HR called me back in alone. The rep's face was calm, but her eyes looked tired. "We confirmed access during the drill." She spoke carefully. My heart thudded because confirmed sounded like a door closing. She slid a document toward me, then pulled it back. "We can't share every detail." Her tone stayed firm. "But she admitted she handled your phone." Admitted, that word made my stomach flip again. Admitted what exactly? My voice came out tight. The rep held my gaze. "She called it a harmless peek." The rep didn't soften it. "And she acknowledged she forwarded screenshots." That part felt like air returning. I stared at the table and let it sink in. So it was real. Not me overreacting. Not me being sensitive, it was real and documented. "Is she fired?" The question slipped out before I could stop it. HR didn't answer directly, which told me enough. "We're taking corrective action." Her voice stayed measured. I hated that phrasing because it sounded gentle. I left the room with a knot in my chest. In the hallway, a few coworkers watched me like I'd changed species. Some looked guilty, some looked annoyed. And one person looked amused, like the show wasn't over. At my desk I found another note. Different handwriting this time. Sorry about all that, just those words. I stared at it and felt nothing, which scared me. Jenna appeared again and hovered at the edge of my space. I didn't know she would post it, she whispered. I looked at her and felt two feelings at once. Anger and something like pity, which I didn't want. Why didn't you tell me earlier? My voice stayed quiet. Jenna's eyes filled again. She told me you'd turn it around on me. Jenna swallowed hard. And I believed her. That honesty hit worse than a lie. I nodded slowly because I could see it now. Tara didn't just steal messages. She stole trust, then sold it back as truth. And I was the product. The team lead stopped by my desk before the day ended. She kept her voice low, eyes on the aisle. I want you to know we're addressing the group chat too. I almost laughed because that chat already infected the whole floor. I packed my things and walked out without saying goodbye. In the elevator, I stared at my reflection and didn't recognize my face. I looked like someone who had begged for basic respect. And I hated that I had to. That night, I deleted the group chat and muted everyone. Not petty survival. I also typed a message to Jenna, then erased it. My fingers hovered because forgiveness felt complicated. The next morning, I walked in with my head up anyway. People watched but fewer whispered. A couple offered small nods, awkward B. Real. It wasn't redemption, but it was a crack in the wall. Later, HR sent an email to the whole team. No names, but the warning was clear. Unauthorized access, confidentiality consequences. I read it twice because it felt like my only public defense. Tara never came back to her desk after that week. I heard she resigned, which is a fancy way to disappear. Some people acted like that settled everything. It didn't, not for me. Jenna tried to talk to me in the parking lot one evening. She stood near my car like she'd rehearsed her speech. I miss you, she blurted, then looked embarrassed. I felt my chest tighten because part of me missed her too. I don't know what we are now, my voice sounded honest. Jenna nodded like she deserved that uncertainty. I'll earn it back, her eyes didn't dodge this time. I wanted to believe her, and that scared me more than anger. Here's the messed up part. Even with Tara gone, I stopped sharing anything personal at work. Not because I learned boundaries. Because I learned how fast people enjoy a downfall. I still hear Tara's tone sometimes when someone asks, "Are you okay?" I still wonder if it's real concern or bait. I hate that I think that way now. But I do, and that's the part that changed me.